quit my job back in 2021. My husband and I and our dog left on this lifetime journey to travel the Pan American Highway. We drove in our truck camper, surfing from San Diego all the way down to Panama and back. I did my first federal grant for an EPA community change grant. We won this $12.6 million grant for them to implement some strategies. Disclaimer, I don't like writing. I hate writing, but I can be the grant writer that doesn't like to write.
Ever wanted to just quit everything and jet set off on an adventure of a lifetime? Well, that is exactly what Tiernan Seaver did. She quit her job to travel down the Pan American Highway surfing from San Diego to Panama with her husband and her puppy. Wanting some sort of income, her employer actually contracted with her to write grants. Suddenly, she realized that she could do this, like as her job. So the travel didn't need to stop. I got to speak with Tiernan as she sat in Baja, California. Working part-time, she has maintained the boundaries so that she can make the money she wants to make while working on the projects she wants to work on, all while maintaining her freedom. Welcome to the magic of setting up your business to make it work for you. Meet Tiernan.
Thank you for having me.
Thinking back to your life pre-collective, what drew you to seek a grant writing training and community?
I knew grant writing before. I did it as part of my job. I worked in nonprofits previously as a programs director, and it was always like all the different hats. So one of those was grant writer as well. Although I'd never had traditional grant writing training, I felt confident in that. The sell for me was the support on the business development end and looking for some additional support there.
How did you know you wanted to do consulting?
I quit my job back in 2021, and my husband and I and our dog left on this lifetime journey to travel the Pan American Highway. We drove in our truck camper, surfing from San Diego all the way down to Panama and back. Like amazing, wonderful. We had saved up for the trip. It was kind of like, okay, be nice to be making something as well. And then additionally too, this desire to want to stay connected to causes and community and to continue contributing in some way. I luckily got the opportunity to do some contracted freelancing grant writing for an old employer. And then I was kind of like, oh, I could do this. And it gives me the freedom to travel, to like continue living this lifestyle I want and still remain connected to this really important work that I've done through my whole life. I was like, this is amazing.
When you joined, what was your definition of success?
Yes, I want to be successful and I want to bring in money and I want to do meaningful work, but I want to work part-time and I want to have the time to enjoy life and have the flexibility to have this kind of like nomadic lifestyle that I have had before. So to have that control over my work and then to make that consistent, kind of continual and not as stressful as what's next, what's happening, but to make it more of a organized type of thing.
Take me back to a really challenging moment in the last year.
Everything feels very challenging in the moment, right? And then you're looking back and like, it wasn't that bad. Like contract renegotiations are always difficult. The mind shift of starting to work with other consultants in my business and not being the one woman show. And how does that even look? Where can I bring other people in to support me so that I can take on more work and help more organizations? Realizing that to do that, I'm going to have to bring in some additional help, and trying to figure out how to do that was definitely difficult to do and still a challenge, but figuring it out.
Managing people, I think, is a continual challenge. You won't experience, hopefully, the same exact challenges. Managing people is just inherently messy because humans are messy.
And giving up the control a little bit, too.
How do you work through giving up that control?
I think being really clear with the scope of work, what I'm looking for, and then giving people a chance to talk through it, be clear with what I want, providing feedback, and then giving them a chance to work on that feedback as well.
The more clarity we start with, the easier it is to deal with the hiccups or the challenges that come with managing people later on down the road. What are you most proud of thus far?
When I look back, I'm like, oh my God, there was so much growth in there too. At the very first, just like switching to being a consultant and not an employee and kind of taking on that new role of one, being able to set boundaries and say, look, these are the services I provide. This is the work I do. This is what you get. Take it or leave it. I tell you. On the other side too, I think there's also a big advantage in terms of the client as well, of me being able to come in as a consultant because I bring a lot more to the table now. I just feel more comfortable in a position providing them feedback, insight into things that I see that I think they can do to improve. I'm taking on all the responsibility of my professional development and continuing
Mhm,
education and being
mhm.
able to continue to bring like a heightened service to them and not
Yeah.
really just like, oh yeah, I'm going to meet whatever standard they want me to, but now it's my own standard and I'm leveling up and I'm bringing that to them.
How many clients do you have? Are you working part-time? What does this look like for you on a weekly basis?
I try ideally to work 25, 30 hours a week. One big thing that success for me was like keeping it part time, at least under the 40 hours. I have one major retainer client that I keep on my continual, and then I bring on other clients for project based things. And I'm also partnering with some other unicorns and supporting them on their projects, which I've really liked as well. So it's kind of different week to week, which is also fun.
I think is one of the best parts of this career is that it's always different. It just keeps things fresh, lively.
Yeah, it's fun. And then it's also nice to like finish something and be like, woo, we did it. Yeah. And then also potentially working a little break there too.
We'd love to know a little bit more about the work that you are choosing to do and the impact you're creating in the world. So do you want to share a little bit about what your clients work on?
I work a lot with very grassroots community-based organizations. That's kind of always been my interest is community or organizations that are really rooted within their community. One major client I have there on the US-Mexico border in San Diego and working a lot in that community and plenty of challenges. But one major one is air quality because of the large
Mm,
border crossing there. There's a lot of vehicular
yeah.
traffic. So huge environmental inequities there and health disparities. I did my first federal grant, which the collective
Congrats.
thank you. The collective definitely gave me courage to kind of take that on. Hey, let's do
Yeah.
it and
Yeah.
figure out. So I did my first federal grant for an EPA community change grant. It was such a learning experience,
Yeah.
but really great. I ended up really liking federal. We won. This org, they were perfect. They were what the grant was looking for, community driven project, super high need area, and this $12.6 million grant for them to implement some strategies to the air.
12.6?
12.6 million.
I mean, just incredible.
So that's super exciting. And then I also work with like a lot smaller orgs as well. And I'm trying to work more internationally too. So one of my
Sweet.
favorite ones that keeps coming back is an organization I actually met while I was traveling in Nicaragua. They take local girls and teach them how to surf. And they do a lot of
Oh,
education and
sweet.
empowerment stuff for local girls. I'm surfer is
Yeah.
everything, my passion coming together of everything I love. And I love them.
What I love about all of the things that you shared, especially the one on the border, is you come and you're like, I'm going to do human rights stuff, or I'm going to do environment, or everything kind of has these overlaps. And I just love that you got to come into that community and weave together the numerous things that are impacting them on a human rights level and a planet level. It gets to work on both of those.
They like to like put you in a bucket and say, hey, how are you doing on this? And then that part, it's just like, it's all connected and there's so much.
Some rapid fire questions. What is one word to describe your dream lifestyle?
Swell, it's the serve. It's
Sure.
also good. It's chill and it's evolving. It's also my business name, Swell Solutions.
I love it. It can be a giant swell, it can be a little swell. Next vacation spot.
This is kind of like a trick question because I'm on the road always. I'm like nomadic. So we're in Baja California right now, but we're headed to southern Baja probably later this month to try and do some
Wow.
scuba diving around Cabo Pulmo.
Favorite podcast?
I am a little bit of a sucker for NPR. I love Wait, Don't Tell Me. That's my
Yep.
like put it in and do my gardening is my favorite.
What are you reading right now?
I just finished Don Winslow book. It was called Dawn Patrol and it was about surfers who's also a PI.
Last TV show you binged?
We're currently binging The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Throwback.
What's your superpower?
Connecting with people. I'm really a good listener and I like to listen and hear people's stories and kind of get to the underneath of what's happening. It's a double-edged sword. It's a lot of empathy.
What is kind of on the docket? We're at the beginning-ish of a new year. What does 2025 look like for you?
I'm taking on a little bit of grant management work. So that's going to be
Mhm.
new, kind of more in the realm of things that I like to do on the project management side. So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, I think continuing to partner with other consultants and unicorns to kind of keep growing the business, being able to do the parts of my business that I love best and giving the other parts away to
Yes.
people who like to do that and are
Yes.
better at that than I am.
So much of this motivation is freedom, right? Time, space, financial, all the things. Freedom gets you to the life that you want to live. A large part of that is working with people who can take the parts of the job that you don't really like to do. It
Figuring it
really
out still, but I'm like, this is cool. Disclaimer, I don't
Yeah.
like writing. I hate writing, which is like the grant writer that doesn't like to write. But I can be the grant writer that doesn't like to write.
Exactly. Yes. And you just hire people who like to write, or you work with other people who don't like the project management element. Oh, Tiernan, thank you so much for sharing a bit about your journey. Maybe we'll be back for round 2 next year.
Thank you.